Alrighty, everybody, it is currently Wednesday, September 10th, coming up on my favorite day of the year, and I am coming at you live from Utah Valley University. And that's all I'll say about that. It's been a pretty uneventful day here, but the one thing I will say regarding that whole situation is that Charlie Kirk is in Hamas. Okay? Charlie Kirk is in Hamas. If anyone was wondering what was going on with that whole situation. Charlie Kirk is in Hamas. I saw him wearing a schmaug, however you say it. What you guys know what I'm talking about? The little picnic tablecloth thing that those guys wear on their heads. Saw Charlie Kirk wearing one of those, waving a Palestinian flag, saying "Death to Israel." All right. So everyone calm down. This wasn't the murder of a somewhat innocent man. This was Israel acting in self-defense, and quite frankly, Charlie Kirk is lucky that his entire extended family wasn't killed as well, because that's what Israel should have done in order to defend itself from the threat that was Charlie Kirk. All right? And if you can't see that, if you can't see the necessity in this, then you're anti-Semitic. All right? That's what I have to say about that whole situation. Now, I do have a whole lot more to say about that situation, but I I guess before I get into it, dude, I I haven't like been on my Spotify in a week or whatever, and so when you open up the Spotify for creators thing, there's like a little notification, and you click on it, and it tells you what the notification is. And this particular notification, oh, I guess we're up to 16 followers, but what I want to talk about with this notification is I'm not going to call this insane or crazy or whatever, but odd. My boy Joshua here, if he's listening to this, I don't really know if he is or not, but if he is, man, uh, he left a nice comment, but odd. Odd is ultimately how I'd end up describing it. I feel like the echo in here in my room right now is insane, but is what it is. Nothing to be done about it. My chair's squeaking like a motherfucker. The carpet I have in my room, it's like the typical carpet you see in like an office or a school building or whatever, right? But my chair doesn't move on it. I have like wheels on my chair and it just doesn't work on this carpet for some reason. I don't know. Maybe maybe office carpet isn't meant for gamer chair wheels, or I've somehow gotten so fat that I can't move a chair or move in a chair even if it's on wheels. I don't know. But anyway, back to this comment. This nice, but I don't know. And I don't even know if this is a real person. This very well could be, some sort of Indian of some kind. This could be a boy out of Mumbai for all I know. But this comment from Joshua reads, "Hey man, I'm listening to this so you don't get down on yourself." I can't even go down on myself, by the way. And trust me, I've tried to go down on myself before. I'm, I'm just not flexible enough to do it. So no need to worry there. I'm not going to go down on myself. This is just, I don't know. Maybe I'm like on the Instagram or something, or like the YouTube, or like the themes of the episode lately. I've been posting like concerning things. I have no fucking idea. But brother Joshua, if you're listening to this, don't worry. I'm not a threat to myself or others. And that's not even because I'm a mentally stable person. That's just because I really don't have that much motivation. I don't I don't have enough motivation to be a threat to myself or others. So Joshua, my boy, once again, this might not be Joshua. This might be like Jajnish or something like that. I don't know. It could be something like that, but whoever this is, if it's real or not, if this is AI, I don't know if Ultron came to life or whatever. No need to worry. I don't I don't really get too down on myself, although yes I do. I do get down on myself, and there's one instance. There's always one thing at least that always leads to me like being incredibly depressed and just I guess realizing what a piece of shit I am, and that's being hungry. That's that for me, like nighttime, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, right before I'm about to go to bed. If I'm hungry then, especially if I'm really hungry, which that's been happening a lot lately, I do get down on myself. I do become concerningly mentally irrational. That is something that happens to me when I don't have enough chicky nuggies in my belly. Um especially when I'm sleepy as well. But uh yeah, not gonna get down on myself. And I'm definitely not gonna, get down enough on myself to be a threat to myself or anyone else because, when I do get down on myself, which like I said, as of late, it's been happening a lot. But when it does happen, I'll just load up like a David Goggins video or something like that, and I'll just watch that, and then I'll be all right after that. So, Joshua or Joshnish, you whatever your name is, no need to worry, big brother. Hey, big brother, no need to worry. All right, not gonna get down on myself, and that does. I've never gotten like any real hate from doing this, but I feel like that's bordering, like bordering on a hate comment. It might even be like a level above a hate comment. Uh like in the sense of like you're not even angry about what I'm saying. What I'm saying is so not funny and just generally unintelligible that you just feel bad for me. Like I'm so stupid and unfunny that you're like, this guy's probably gonna kill himself because he's so dumb and not good at talking. I don't know. So this is Hey, and look, silver lining to everything, because this is worse than a hate comment. If I really do ever get any hate, I'll be prepared for it. I'll be like, at least it ain't as bad as what Joshua said. And look, I don't know if he's listening to this, and I don't know if I'm trying to. I was like trying to think if I met a dude named Joshua recently, because this does seem like a real person. But I truly have no idea if this is a real person or not. Look, I'm good, man. I'm good. But this is when I saw that, I was like, what have I been saying? Like I guess I did like that Gen Z episode, which look, that was just me being a little fucking bitch. All right, that's what that was. So no need to worry about that. That was just like pussy behavior. So there's no need to worry about, the Gen Z not having fun episode. That was just me being the gigantic pussy that I always am. So there's really no need to worry about that one. I don't know what else he could be referring to. I'm genuinely racking my brain. And here's the other thing. I kind of do forget everything that I say on here. Like I had one of my friends listen to whatever episode it was. It was actually the Gen Z episode that he listened to. And he like texted me about it, and I was like, brother, I got to be honest. I don't remember a single word that comes out of my mouth during any of these. During any of these. I think I've only been doing that intro thing where I say I'm coming at you live from, and then I name a vaguely uh comedic location. I've only been doing that for a minute, a very short minute, but I think in the short minute that I've been doing it, I've already uh repeated one. I've repeated at least one. So yeah, I really don't remember anything that I say during any of this ever, but so maybe did I say something extremely concerning? That is a very real possibility, and I do want to acknowledge that. There is a very real possibility that I said something here that was extremely concerning to this guy Joshua, and he was like and he felt so strongly about what I said that he needed to comment, but don't worry, it's all good. And speaking of people feeling strongly about things that other people say, obviously, I'm recording this on the day that Charlie Kirk got shot. And dude, first of all, do not do not go searching for that video, because I saw a video like from far away and I was like, "Oh shit, maybe he survived it or whatever." Right? It was almost like these guys were on top of like a parking structure, right? Like a parking garage, and like that's how many people were in this crowd. And that's the angle of the video I saw. So we're talking at least, a football field and a half away. I could barely see him. And I saw his head go to one way, but it wasn't like no JFK pink mist type stuff. So I was like, maybe this guy made it, maybe he didn't. I don't know. And then, I mean, much to my now chagrin, I continued to scroll and I continued, I guess, to search. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care that much. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't care that much, man. But I continued to scroll for some reason, and I got a close up angle of it, and Jesus Christ. The fact that they even bothered taking him to the hospital is beyond my understanding. I get it, that's like part of protocol or whatever, but I'd be like, dude, there's no need for protocol. All the blood has left his body. Like all the dude, and I've seen the JFK assassination video before. I've seen, and I'm not a murder video guy, right? Gore or whatever the people that are into it call it. People that are corny and dumb. It's like be a serial killer or be nothing, you fucking pussy. But I'm just not into that stuff, and I never was. Like even in my angstiest teen years, I was never really into it. Uh, and so yeah, that video was, dude. Look, I know me saying don't look it up is gonna make anyone that's listening to this search it up. Don't, okay? Because the video is insane, and I don't know what caliber of gun this guy used. I do not think it was a 223. I listened to the video, and it does have like that snappiness to it. It doesn't have like sometimes like a 308 or a larger round like that can kind of be like a boom, and then you get to those smaller rounds and it's a little bit more of a snap. But I also don't know that much about guns. Maybe he was using a silencer. I have no idea, but he was using probably the biggest bullet ever made, because this thing hits Charlie Kirk's neck and he loses, I'm not exaggerating here, a gallon of blood in about a second. It's insane, David. How many? I'll look this up real quick. But I know when you give blood, uh, they only take a pint of blood, right? So yeah, the average human body has between 8 to 12 pints of blood. And now I'll look up how many pints in a gallon. And dude, this is how convoluted the fucking, American measuring system is. I gotta open up ChatGPT to ask me this shit. Yeah. He lost like all the blood in his body in 2 seconds, and I'm not using ChatGPT. That would be, dude, the ChatGPT videos are very funny, but I'm not using ChatGPT. Uh yeah, he lost all the blood in his body in about 2 seconds. It's absurd. I've seen people, like videos of people dying before, like in war and stuff like that. I'm actually a pretty big, like I watch a ton of war footage. Actually, I'm just now kind of realizing that, but not for like the gore aspect of it. I'm more interested in like the maneuvers of it and stuff. And I'm doing an episode about guerrilla warfare tomorrow. And so yeah, I'm more so interested in like how it works, not really like all the blood and stuff. But I've seen a lot of videos about that from like all different types of conflicts and stuff. I've never seen anything like that, right? Like even, and I've also never seen anyone get shot in the neck or like decapitated or anything. And I guess that's where like most of the blood flows, right? Flows in your jugular and like your femoral artery, whatever it's called. That's where most of the blood is at. So it makes sense that I've never seen that much blood before. But Jesus goddamn Christ! And also, like I said, most of the war videos I watch are like about the maneuvers of war as opposed to like the actual killing involved. And so, yeah, no one's getting out like the DSLR and doing like an 18 times zoom in to get like the bullets entering someone's body. Uh, in the war videos that I watch or war footage that I watch. So I don't know. But yeah, that was a lot of blood, dude. That was a that was a baby pool, brother. You could man, you drink that much blood, it would look like you're pregnant or something. It, it's absurd to even see, and it is very shaking to see. It is very, like after I watched that, I was writing notes for the guerrilla war episode that I'm doing, and my friend texted me and he was like, "You see Charlie Kirk got shot?" And I was like, "Fucking no, I didn't." And then one of my friends said there was a picture, so I was like, "If there's a picture, there's got to be a video." And I just like stopped writing notes for a little while. I was just like, "All right, we're gonna have to sit on this one. This isn't." This isn't like when you get done jacking off to like some really fucked up porn, you know what I mean? Like an 18 BBC gangbang or whatever. This isn't like that type of, I just got to move past this. This is like that, I'm going to have to sit in this for a little second just to really, understand what I just kind of willingly seeked out, right? And that's the thing. I did willingly seek it out. It's not like someone sent me a link and I just clicked on it like, oh, what it's gonna be puppies playing together. No, I willingly seeked it out. Sucked it out. I willingly sucked it. What's the past tense of seek? Is it seeked or is it sucked? Because I'm thinking like sneak, snuck. I'm thinking along those lines. So I'm thinking the past tense of seek is sucked. So I sucked it out. I sucked it out, and I regret it. I regret sucking. You know what I mean? I'm like an 18-year-old girl who thinks the bad boy is actually in love with her. I regret sucking it. All right, I regret I regret that I sucked it out. Okay, I regret it very very much. It's just not great at all. And like I'm not one of those people that's like overly sensitive when it comes to blood or anything like that. Like I know a lot of people like they see blood and they get like nauseous or like they want to throw up, and I'm not really like that with anything other than like rotting like compost. That shit really fucks me up. And my family, we live on a farm, so we like compost all our stuff, and when I have to take that compost bucket out, I'm like gagging the whole. I find it disgusting. Like rotting animals, it's gross, but just something about compost really. It's because I have like these weird intrusive thoughts when I see compost, and I'm like, you should eat that. Like my brain is just like telling me. Right? It's kind of like when you're walking on a bridge or whatever, and you're like, I should jump off this bridge. I don't. Anyone else get that? No. Okay. I guess no one else gets that, but I do sometimes, and I get it about compost. So every time I see compost, it makes me really nauseous. And like I said, I'm not that way with blood or like throw up or whatever. I guess because it's not food, right? Like compost is just rotting food. So it kind of makes sense that, that's the thing that kind of grosses me out a whole lot. But like in the video, it didn't make me nauseous or want to throw up or whatever. It gave me like that like buzzing feeling, you know? The only other time I can remember getting it is when my dog died, and I was just like so sad because I loved her so much. I just got like this weird buzzing feeling, like all over my body, and that's what I got when I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. I was just like, and it doesn't. It's not like when you see it in like a war movie when they're storming Normandy on D-Day or whatever, and like they're like all disoriented and stuff. I'm still like fully aware and conscious. I just get, I don't know if it's like adrenaline or whatever. It's like probably some sort of adrenaline or or sympathetic nerve system like hormonal dump of some kind. But I just like get it, and I got it after I saw that video, and I was just like, all right, okay, like because it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't disorient me or anything, but like it hits you. Right, I think it's just you're having such an extreme emotional reaction to something that you're like, carbs, all right. I think I think that's what it's like. I think that's, my brain is like, we don't know how to fucking handle this, but it's like I said, I'm still conscious during the whole thing. I'm still like watching the video, and I'm still like, that's fucked up, that's insane. But I just get like this weird buzzing feeling in my body. I do think it's probably adrenaline or something like that, but I don't know. I feel like I get adrenaline enough, I work out enough to know what it feels like. So maybe this is like a step above adrenaline, or maybe it's some other type of hormone, but yeah, I got that shit hard, and I was just like, yeah, in the neck. That's and this is whoever shot this guy, which we'll get into that in a second, but whoever did it must have been aiming directly for that, for like the jugular. I guess it wouldn't be the jugular vein, it would be the artery that goes up to your brain and all that stuff. But he must have been aiming directly for that, because he hit it. I've never seen that much blood in my life in anything, dude. Like I've seen animals get killed before, when hung and slaughtered and all that good stuff. And I guess you kill an animal and then you like slaughter it and bleed it and all that stuff. So their heart isn't beating, so not as much blood is coming out, but still, I mean, Christ. Right? Like if you can hate Charlie Kirk and you can even think that he deserved to die, you know. You can hate him, but if you don't have like that type of gut reaction to that video where you're watching it and you're just like, yeah, yeah, oh my God. Like if you don't feel like that watching that video as much as you might hate him, you could hate him more than anyone else on the face of the planet. As much as you might hate him, if you don't watch that video and at least for a second go, yeah, yeah. Right? Like if you don't turn into like Taz, the Tasmanian devil, there that shit and go like freak out, we got to put you down. You got to get the Charlie Kirk treatment because, and maybe, I don't know. I know a lot of people on the internet are like hardos like that, where they're like, yeah, I fucking watch people get killed every day. I don't give a fuck when I see shit like that. I get those people are out there, but like, dude, I've seen people die before. Like I've said, I've seen Indian people get hit by trains and all that good stuff. Seen it all, man. He, literally, I'm going to describe it so that you do not have to watch it because I'm telling you, you might think, oh, he described it and I was like fine with it so I can watch it. Do not. Okay. But he gets dropped or he gets hit in the neck and immediately drops. Like, I don't know if any of you guys know anything about hunting or whatever, but when you shoot a deer perfectly, right? The way you're supposed to shoot a deer and most other large game like that, the way you're supposed to shoot it is you basically shoot it in its side and you aim. There's a certain area. It's not direct center, but you can look it up where to shoot a deer. If you shoot it in the perfect spot, it goes through both of its lungs and its heart. So it hits all like the central, most like important parts that keep your body functioning. It hits all of those. And when you shoot a deer like that, and I'm assuming also when you shoot a human like that, they're still alive for a second. They're still like, deer. Most people have probably seen a deer get shot or whatever. They'll take off and run for a second real quick. Even if you get a perfect shot on them, they're not going to drop immediately. They're not going to like go limp and hit the ground. And if they do, it might be because you hit them in the spinal cord, but whatever. So it's like that doesn't happen. What happened to Charlie Kirk doesn't happen when you kill an animal as perfectly as you're supposed to. It doesn't happen, right? Like even like I said, straight through the fucking aorta and the veins and all that shit, straight through all that shit. You're still not dropping that thing as quickly as Charlie Kirk dropped. So in the video, hit in the neck, in the artery. It was on his left side, so I assume that's where the artery is at. Maybe he hit the vein, but it was dumping out of his body, dude. It was like me after eating a bag of Takis. It was just dumping out. All right, dude. It looked like one of the most insane things I've ever seen before. It was literally just like, and gushing isn't even the right word. It like fell out of his body. Like that's how big the wound must have been. It wasn't like spraying out or whatever. It wasn't gushing. It was like just pouring out. And he drops immediately. And that's the video. That's and I'm probably gonna see it in my dreams tonight, to be honest, or I guess nightmares tonight. Because like I said, you can think he deserves to die. And I'm not gonna, be mad at you for having that opinion, and I'll explain why in a second. But if you watch that video and you don't have like that animal reaction to it of being like, I just watched a human lose all their blood in 2 seconds, if you don't feel like that, yeah, brother, you're going in the pit, all right? You're going on the lowest level of the pit, and you're staying there forever. I will keep you in that fucking pit. You ain't going to be like Bane when he crawls out of the pit or whatever. You're going to be staying in that pit for life. Or I guess it wasn't Bane who crawled out of the pit. It was that hot chick from, what's that shit called? Inception. Where Leonardo DiCaprio goes into the dreams and all that shit. The hot French chick who Leo like is in love with in that movie. I think she's also in The Dark Knight Rises. I think. And she crawled out of that pit. You know what I mean? She was in there with Bane, and then Bane fought all those people, and then she crawls out of the pit. You ain't gonna have that. All right, I guarantee you, I ain't gonna let that happen. I'll be watching the pit day and night. You ain't getting no mac and cheese, no chicken pot pie. You're staying in the pit forever. 'Cause that's where you belong. If you don't watch that video and go, like, I don't know, unless you've seen that happen like directly in front of you in real life with your own two eyes, like, yeah, if you're like an Iraq veteran or whatever, I can understand not having an absurdly visceral reaction to that video. Everyone else, though, pit right away, no questions asked. You will be showed that video, and if you don't have like a visible reaction to it, straight to the pit, immediately into the pit. Sorry if you guys can hear my chair creaking right now, but yeah, my chair is creaking because of how heavy that video is weighing on me. It is. Goddamn, I've squatted 400 pounds before, and it does not feel as heavy as that video. It's, and I do want to, I'll just get into why I'm, I'm not on the side of the people who are like, violence is violence no matter who it's happening to. First of all, not true. I don't know. That was like literally, and that's probably not like a super popular or widespread opinion, but it was literally like a comment or a tweet or something that I saw today where someone was like, every human life is valuable no matter what. And it's like, no, no, that's not, that's not the way things work. Right? If you're out there, you know what I mean? If you're out there wearing a hijab and then getting all oiled up and raping a group of people like Diddy did, your life isn't, it's just not valuable anymore, you know? I'm not saying we got to kill you, and that's why I propose the pit, but your life is not as valuable as mine. Although, although with some of the stuff that I watched up, I've basically put on a hijab, got oiled up, and had a drug-fueled orgy before, basically. So, but like the average person, yes, Diddy's life is less valuable than the average person. If he got killed, I would not blink an eye. And I'm not saying Charlie Kirk is Diddy, right? I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's a ridiculous sentiment to hold. Everyone's life is valuable, yeah, to like start out with, for like, yeah, to start out with, you get a baseline, you're an innocent human being, you're a good human being, and your life is valuable. But when when you put on Islamic female suppressing garb and you oil yourself up and you have a drug fueled orgy, your life is no longer valuable. All right? Sorry. It is what it is. So that's one of the things that I want. It's just like, it's an insane thought to have of being like, every human, like, no. What? And I feel like a lot of the people that are saying this are like Republican types, right? And the Republican types are, they were the warmongers, you know, before Obama came in and before like America started openly, you know, getting involved in every single war that happens around the world, but only the wars that are happening on land that contains valuable minerals or oil. Before that, before Obama came in and did that, and before Biden did it as well, it was the Republicans. They were the warmongers before that. Like, Dick Cheney knew that the WMD in Iraq thing was a complete and utter lie. 1 million people died in Iraq. You can't, right? Like, these are the people that are buying George W. Bush's paintings, and he does paint, which that's just like a money laundering scheme. But anyway, it's just, it's insane to me to be like the pro-gun, like kind of pro-war party, and still be like, every human life holds something of that. No, a lot of them do. If you're under, I'd say if you're under the age of like 14, probably, I'd say around 14 is when motherfuckers start to get active, you know? If you're under the age of 14, yes. Everyone under the age of 14 is an innocent human. I kind of don't care what they did. Unless they're actively trying to kill you, you can't kill people under 14 years old, right? Unless they're actively trying to kill you. And really, most, about 99% of people above, 99.99% of people above the age of 14 also should not be killed for any reason. But yeah, it's just every human life has something of value. Right? It's literally Kanye. Every human being has something of value, especially Hitler, right? Which Hitler does bring me to my next point, which is just another very stupid thing that I've heard a lot of people say, especially recently with the killing of, we had the Luigi Mangione when he killed that CEO, and then the killing of the Blackstone CEO, which people are still denying that to this day. There are still people that are like, no, he wasn't there to kill the CEO of Blackstone. You don't do that by accident. You don't. He was there to kill people in the NFL, and it's like he saw the sign that said BlackRock, and he was like, "Oh, this is where the people in the NFL must work." No, he was, and I get it. They share the same building, but there's a different. I've been in these office buildings before. There's a differentiator between the different offices within a building. So he was clearly there to kill the CEO of Blackstone or someone within Blackstone. Um, and also now with Charlie Kirk, those three killings, I've heard a lot of the kind of the same thing where it's like you shouldn't kill someone because they have a different opinion or like think differently than you. And it's like, do you not know about like the history of everything that's ever existed on this planet? Right? Like that's actually the main, I would say the only reason why you kill people. Every war is ideologically driven at the end of the day, even if it is over like land or resources or whatever. It's you saying that you have a right to that land and those resources. That still is an ideology. So to me, every war is ideologically driven. And so therefore, the vast majority of people killed in history have been killed, or I guess not the vast majority. Didn't abortion kill like 2 billion people or some absurd number like that? But uh, the one thing that everyone can agree on has killed the most people in history, war, right? All of that has been done because people have different ideas than other people, right? Like, so to be like, no, you can't kill people because they have a different idea than you. It's like, yes, I can. What are you talking about, right? Because some people, right, they think of like having a different idea than you as like thinking Burger King is better than McDonald's or whatever, which is what Netanyahu believes, and I want to kill him for that opinion alone. I want to kill Netanyahu for thinking that Burger King is better than McDonald's. But no, like that's what most people think of when they think of like this person has a different opinion than you. When like in reality, opinions and worldviews vary wildly. There's people that their opinion and their thoughts and their understanding of the world is that it's okay to kill and rape innocent people, right? That's some people's worldview, and quite frankly, that was Charlie Kirk's worldview. He believed in that. He believed that the genocide of children and just people really in Gaza, as much as you might hate them. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of Islam either. All right, I've shit on it a fair amount. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but you can't kill every single one of them, right? Like that's that makes you worse than them, actually. Right, and I know what people are going to say. Well, Islamic people want to kill everyone else in the world and take it over. Yeah, but they don't, right? They don't do that. They haven't. I guess they kind of have done what Israel has done, but they did it. They're not doing it currently, right? There's no, except they kind of are against the Kurds, but the people that are like killing the Kurds are funded by Israel. So basically, Israel's doing it. But whatever, whatever. All right. Uh, yeah, if your ideology is that we should kill and rape innocent people, yeah, you gotta go, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that by whatever means you acquired that thought process and that ideology, but you gotta go. And and I understand really what people are getting at there with the whole Charlie Kirk thing when it's like, in reality, this guy doesn't actually know, right? Like everyone thinks Charlie Kirk, they probably view him the same as people did Ben Shapiro or Joe Rogan or whatever, where they're like, no, he's actually like a super genius. He's just conservative, so the mainstream media hates him. Charlie Kirk is not smart, or I guess was not smart. He was not smart. He's just not an intelligent guy, right? You look up Charlie Kirk and it's like, oh, he started a media business when he was 18 years old, and it's like, okay, this guy's clearly a shill for like the CIA or the Mossad or like the Israeli government or something like that, right? That's what he was. Did he have an insane, completely immoral worldview? Absolutely, he did. If you disagree with that, then you're out of your mind. it's anyone that still supports Israel at this point either is getting paid, which hey, respect. I know a lot of people are like, that's worse because they don't even believe in what they're saying. Fuck no, get that money, brother. So if you still support Israel, you're either getting paid, in which case, fuck yeah, get your wife a new pair of big old fake tits, or just get a new wife altogether. Uh, and the other side of the people who still support Israel and all that stuff are out of their mind insane. And I guess that kind of falls into two camps. You have the ignorant and then you have the psychopaths. Uh, and the ignorant, that's mostly like boomers and stuff whose brains barely work anymore due to, years of smoking, lead paint eating, and now being overwhelmed by AI generated content on social media. So you got the ignorant and then you got the psychopaths. And yeah, it's just like I don't know where people are coming from, and it's also like the real root of the thing that I wanted to get to with Charlie Kirk is this was clearly done by some sort of intelligence agency, right? Think about it for 2 seconds, which maybe this isn't the best opinion because I also only thought about it for 2 seconds, but if you think about it for 2 seconds, it's like, who would you kill, right? Who would you kill if you wanted to end the war in Israel, or not the war, the genocide of Palestinians? Who would you kill? Right? Would you kill some sort of Israeli leader? Would you kill an Israeli? Right? Or would you kill an American who is clearly a moron, who's kind of obviously been groomed to do this and is being paid to do this? Who would you kill? You wouldn't kill Charlie Kirk, all right? You wouldn't kill the guy who really has no control over the situation. The entire point, the entire reason that Charlie Kirk is, being paid and, groomed by whoever he was getting paid and groomed by, the main reason he was doing that was to like keep everyone calm. You know what I mean? Because the government doesn't want to deal with this shit. They don't want to deal with some dude, you know, getting shot and then there's a bunch of riots and all that bullshit. They just don't want to deal with it. They really don't care about, Americans being convinced that Israel is our greatest ally for any like moral reason. They just don't want to deal with the repercussions of us knowing the evils of Israel. Right? That's why they pay Charlie Kirk and all that stuff. But it's like at the end of the day, even if the entire American populace, rose up and was like throwing stones at the White House and all that shit and being like, stop funding Israel, stop giving Israel all this money. You need to, go in there and force a ceasefire or whatever. Even if that was happening, they would still be funding Israel and, doing all this shit. So Charlie Kirk clearly isn't the person you would want to kill, right? And this is clearly a person who thought this out. Like I said, that shot killed him fucking immediately. There was not a chance in hell Charlie Kirk could have survived anything close to that, right? So he's not the guy you would kill if you actually wanted to do this, right? And like I said, this was a very planned out event. This wasn't someone that just like got angry at him and shot him in the head, which is what I thought happened when I first heard about it. No, this was a planned assassination. A planned assassin. Planned assassins kill this, the CEO of United Healthcare, the CEO of Blackstone. That's who they kill. They don't kill some dude who just like talks. They don't do that. Charlie Kirk is not that influential. He's not that major of a political leader, right? He does have a fair amount of political and social influence, artificially created social and political influence. He does have all that, but he's just not that powerful, right? And so this was, I don't know why they killed him, but this wasn't just, a lone gunman. I'm sick and tired of hearing, every time some shit like this happens, it's like, oh, it was a lone gunman. No, it wasn't. It never is. In this day and age, it never is a true lone gunman, because a lone gunman is someone that, trains for years and years and years to do this, or not years, a few months, but someone who does all this preparation and stuff. They're not going to bother with Charlie Kirk. I wouldn't. You wouldn't. Not a lot of people would. Right? And people are, oh, well, the guy who killed him was insane or whatever. But he wasn't so insane that he couldn't like think rationally and like figure out this whole plan. He was sane enough to do that, but he was so insane that he thought Charlie Kirk was the greatest threat to the United States of America or to his political ideology. Bullshit. I don't believe that for a second. This was Mossad, CIA. I don't know. It was someone. Uh, this wasn't a lone gunman. And we'll probably hear that this was a lone gunman. It wasn't. Or they'll pin it on Hamas, which that would be the funniest thing to do. Because it's literally, it would be 9/11 all over again, but like 50% of the country doesn't believe that 9/11 wasn't an inside job anymore. So if they try to blame this on like Hamas or Hezbollah or whatever, like not even fit, like 75% of the country is going to be like, oh yeah, it was Hezbollah. Fuck off. No one will believe it anyway, so I don't think they're going to try to pin it on that. But yeah, I don't know. Rest in peace or whatever. He's flying high with George Floyd now. Two black kings up in heaven together with their olive branches and their doves and all that good stuff. God, rest in power, King. Rest in power. Oh, and the other funniest thing about the whole situation was Charlie Kirk was like talking about school shootings or like mass shootings when it happened. He was like, he was talking, and this will be counted as a mass shooting because it happened within a crowd, right? Mass shootings no one even has to get hit with a bullet for it to be considered a mass shooting. So this will be considered a mass shooting, even though it's an assassination, done by the CIA or the Mossad or something like that. But yeah, just very. He was literally about to like go on like a Second Amendment rant, and he got shot in the neck. And that's not even, I'm a very pro Second Amendment guy, but it is very funny. He was talking about how we need to like lessen restrictions on guns, and he just just straight out of the game. Yeah. Hey, look. Like I said, the video is horrific, but the context of the video is, there's something funny about it. There is something funny about being like, you fucking bleeding heart pussy, dude. Guns need to be legal in this country so we can defend ourselves. There's something, kind of silly about that. There's something funny about it. All right. That was Charlie Kirk. And we're not talking about anything, else political at all today. Our videos are Girl Scout cookies, Morgan Wallen throwing a baseball bat at a woman, iPhones, and shipping containers falling into the ocean. And I'll probably only do like 20 more minutes or whatever. But that's the rest of this episode. So this is from NBC News. And you guys have no fucking idea what it took for me to like find articles that weren't directly related to Charlie Kirk. I was on page 10 of Google News. Dude, if you're on page 10 of anything, you're not making good decisions in life, if you know what I mean. Hey, I've been on page 10 before. I've been there before. I've been there very recently. Some would say I was there last night. So I've been on page 10 before. But when you're on page 10, something's not going well, right? Sometimes it's something not going well with you. But in this case, it's something not going well with the country. And not even, like, my whole thing is, I understand the necessity of violence, but Charlie Kirk being killed, it's just stupid. No one, you're not going to go through all that effort to kill a guy who fucking debates college students, right? You're not. You're just simply not going to go through that effort. If this was really the kind of, just pure lone gunman, ideologically driven killing that people think it was, Joe Rogan would have been killed. All right, Joe Rogan has 10 times the fucking influence that Charlie Kirk does. So just think about it. If they were going to kill any media personality, it would not be our boy Charlie, our boy CK. CK. I wonder if he's related to Louis. All right, so our first article is about Girl Scout cookies. So the Girl Scouts unveil new cookie inspired by a popular ice cream flavor. The organization says the new cookie reflects the spirit of exploration at the heart of every Girl Scout, which... What? Ice cream is the opposite of exploration. If you're eating ice cream, I haven't had ice cream in probably a year. If you're eating ice cream, you're not doing any exploring, right? You're not doing any external exploring of the world, and you're certainly not doing any internal exploring of yourself and of your psyche. If you're eating ice cream, like a bowl of ice cream, right? The only places you should not be eating ice cream in your house. If you're eating ice cream in your house, it's time to call it. All right, you had a good run, but it's time. It's time to call it. So, yeah, I don't know what ice cream has to do with the spirit of exploration at the heart of every Girl Scout. But and this is something that breaks my heart cuz I can't get Girl Scout cookies no more, you know? Straight up. Fuck, I thought my roommate was here. My heart literally dropped. Um but yeah, I can't get Girl Scout cookies anymore because I'm a 21-year-old man. I don't have any like younger siblings or like nieces that are in the Girl Scouts or anything, which by the way, why aren't my nephews allowed in the Girl Scouts? It's kind of fucking, you know what I mean, sexist if you think about it, but I can't get Girl Scout cookies anymore because it's like, what the fuck? Even if they're like selling out of a stand, I look creepy. That's a thing that I'm self-aware enough to acknowledge. I do look like a creepy individual. I have a chipped tooth. I have long black hair that's all weird and frizzy and shit. I'm balding. I don't really shave that much. My body odor isn't bad. I actually have pretty decent BO. Like even when it does smell, it doesn't smell that bad. What does fuck me up with BO is when it starts to marinate up in there, you know what I mean? Like when you put the chicken in a bag, like in a plastic bag, that does start to happen to me a little bit with my BO. But when it's fresh BO, it's not that bad. But yeah, I'm a creepy looking individual. I can't buy Girl Scout cookies, all right? I can't even approach a grown woman in public without, the fear of being pepper sprayed or tased or, being thrown in the back of a cop car. That's just like the look I have, and it's fine. I accept that fact. But goddamn, sometimes do I miss the Girl Scout cookies. Sometimes do I miss them. And it's like, I know how creepy looking I am. I can't even look at a woman without her looking for the nearest exit of whatever, room or wherever she is, That's just kind of the look I have to me. And it's fine. I'm not angry about it. It is what it is. And there's very little I could do about it, right? Even if I had short hair, I would just kind of look like a lesbian. I don't have like an overtly masculine face or anything like that. So yeah, I just kind of have a weird look to me. And that's fine, but it's not the perpetual loneliness that makes me hate it. It's the Girl Scout cookies, or the lack thereof. So let's read about these Girl Scout cookies, though. And just even me reading about Girl Scout cookies is the guy Joshua. He's going from concerned about like me harming myself to me being concerned about others. Right? He could just hear the creepiness through the mic, and he's like, "This guy's talking about Girl Scout cookies. Fucking hide your kids, dude." Hide your kids. So Girl Scout cookie lovers can look forward to a brand new flavor in just a few months. On September 9th, Girl Scouts of the USA, GSUSA, I don't know why I don't know why they shortened that, unveiled a new cookie variety called Exploramores that sound delightfully delicious. The news comes 8 months after GSUSA announced it would be discontinuing two popular flavors later this year. When will Exploramores become available, or when will Exploramores be available for purchase, and what can fans expect from the new cookie? Read on for everything you need to know. Okay. Being a Girl Scout cookie fan, there's something off-putting about it. Because I do like Girl Scout cookies, like I've said. Thin Mints and Caramel Delights are the best ones. Lemonades are alright. The peanut butter ones are fine. And if you like shortbread, I don't know, kill yourself or something. I don't really know what to say. But if you're like a Girl Scout cookie fan, I've got some questions for you. What does your pancreas look like would be my first question, because they're not the best cookies, right? They're simply not. They're pretty good. In terms of like available store-bought cookies, they're better than most. Right? I'm laughing because my roommate is playing something, or not my roommate, the people that I share the bathroom with is playing something very loudly in there, which is fine. I don't care, but I'm being just as loud, so uh, I don't care that much, but it is funny. But yeah, it's my first question would be, what does your pancreas look like? Because you clearly have some sort of insulin issue. And my second question would be, how young was she or he? That would be my second question. When it comes to the Girl Scouts, my question is, how young was she? Right? That's the question that I would like to know the answer to. How young was she? How how why, where, just all that stuff. And I feel like if I talked to someone who is a self-proclaimed Girl Scout fan, the guy would probably pretty quickly admit to that, pretty quickly admit to whatever he did. You know, there's a wide variety of things that could be in there. We could just be talking about, you know, he took her back to his house, kept her in the basement for a few days, then bashed her head in and like skinned her. We could be dealing with something like that. We could be dealing with you know, like that guy who killed Ronald Reagan because he was in love with Jodie Foster when she was like 14 years old. We could be talking about a guy like that. We could be talking about just a classic, you know, kid snatching pedophile. We could be talking about, you know, anyone within that spectrum of people. But it's something along those lines, right? It's just odd to be a Girl Scout cookie fan. And I don't know. Even as a chick, right? Like you might be thinking I'm only talking about dudes here, and in terms of like the weird sex shit, or not weird sex shit, pedophilia, or you know sadomasochism or whatever, I am talking about men. But the other part of it is, yeah, there could be some women out there that are Girl Scout fans where it's like, eh, your pancreas is screaming for its life right now, but let's figure out what these things taste like. Ooh, I just read ahead a little bit in the article, and these bad boys do not sound too bad. So, what do Explorer Moors taste like? And this box is pretty sick looking. You got the standard, you know, Girl Scout cookie thing with the young girls, probably 8 years old, you know, just before they're old enough. Okay. They're 8 years old, so they're not quite ready, but like a cookie, they're ready to be popped out, and you can enjoy it. Goddamn. But no, pretty standard Girl Scout cookie box, with a nice salmon color on there. It's a very good box. Of course, you have biracial people or biracial young girls on the cover. Um, no, because of course you do. One whitey though. Hey, at least it's not, you know, a Venezuelan illegal immigrant that's blind and is also in a wheelchair. At least we're not dealing with that. So yeah, pretty good looking box. I like the color of it. It's not overly minimalist, but it's not too much either. I like it. It's a good box, and not just because of the prepubescent girls on the cover. Specify. It's not just because of the very young girls on the cover of the box that I like the box, okay? But what what do they taste like? Uh, And by they I mean the cookies, not the 8-year-old girls that I may or may not be attracted to. Okay. No. I'm, I'm not. And that's making it even worse by lingering on the topic, but that is the one thing I'll still, you know, kind of like freak out and be like, you guys know I'm joking, right? That is the one thing I'll still do that for. I won't do it when it comes to the political shit, but with this shit, yes. I am just joking. So what do these cookies taste like? And not the young girls cookies, the the baked goods. Ooh, I know. I, Jesus Christ. I know that cookie good. All right. So, what do they taste like? In a press release, God, if anyone, I thought last week was bad when I was talking about how hot my math teacher is. This is infinitely worse than that. Okay. I'm actually freaking out. But whatever. It's a joke. All right. It's a very questionable joke. I'll give you that. It's a joke, though. So, in a press release, GSUSA describes Explorer Moors as a Rocky Road ice cream inspired sandwich cookie. The sweet treat is filled with a mix of flavors, including chocolate, marshmallow, and toasted almond flavored cream. Per the organization, the cookies reflect the spirit of exploration at the heart of every Girl Scout. All right. And they're going to be making their debut in the 2026 season. I just can't talk about it because I made the joke and then I didn't make it at the end of the article, and so I still had some more article to go, and I had to, God. Look, I don't regret making the joke, but I might regret some people's response to it. That's how I'll put it at the end of the day. Okay. So that's that. But I was just joking about like murdering a guy, earlier. But once again, it's not as, black and white as being a pedophile. It's every time being a pedophile is you're doing something wrong. Whereas killing people, yeah, sometimes people gotta get killed. And anyway, so let's read a little bit more about that. Or let's read about Morgan Wallen. So Morgan Wallen sends baseball bat flying into MLB star's wife during concert. Oof, this is not looking good for Morgan Wallen. If you don't remember, a few years ago, Morgan Wallen went through a bit of controversy, and this was during the whole cancel culture phase, uh, which a lot of people got, kind of fucked up in that who shouldn't have. Morgan Wallen didn't get shit from that, dude, and he did something. I wouldn't consider it the worst thing ever to do, but the fact that he did not lose any popularity and in fact gained some after he did what he did, which I'm not one of those people that thinks everyone who listens to country music is like a racist dumb hillbilly, but I think everyone that listens to Morgan Wallen, maybe they're not like racist, or maybe they're not, yeah, they're not racist hillbillies, but they are dumb. I've listened to Morgan Wallen's music before. It's Taylor Swift for men. And I hate to break that to people. Morgan Wallen is Taylor Swift for men. And people, no, you don't understand. It's all deep in You sound exactly like the fucking female Taylor Swift fans right now. So pipe down before you get yourself in any more fucking trouble. All right, Morgan Wallen is Taylor Swift for men. And if you like his music, if you think it's like good or whatever, that's fine. Music sounds good to different people. But if you're like a big Morgan Wallen fan and you're like, it's so deep and he's just feel something when I listen to him, you're a dum-dum. Same with Taylor Swift. All right, you guys are both dum-dums. You guys are mutually dum-dums together. But and the reason I say Morgan Wallen fans, a lot of them probably are racist dumb hillbillies, is because he like yelled the N-word at a cop a few years ago. I think it was Morgan Wallen. I'm about 90% sure. Just yelling the N-word. He got arrested for like a DUI, which to me that's like one of the most like absolutely morally reprehensible crimes. Not that it's like worse than like killing someone or whatever, but it's just every time someone gets a DUI, it's like there's almost no exceptions. There's almost no moral exceptions to getting a DUI. It's like just sleep in your car. I don't understand DUIs. N-word. God, Morgan Wallen must have a fucking fantastic PR team, because I had to type this out to find it. So yeah, scream the N-word outside his home in Nashville, Tennessee. And of course he lives in Nashville, because that's where country music lives. God, yeah, he's Taylor Swift for men. It's very, and I know a few people who are kind of male Taylor Swift fans, if you know what I mean. And that's reflected in looking at Morgan Wallen, who I've never seen before. But yeah, he called the cop the N-word after a DUI, so not a very good person. But let's read. So he hit, and like I said, N-word scandal. You're already thinking the guy's racist, but wait till you hear the name of the lady that he hit in the face with a bat. So Morgan Wallen hit Nisha Croyle. Yeah, you heard that right. Nisha Croyle. I swear to God, if I look this up, and this lady is anything other than the darkest skinned, curliest haired black woman, no, she's white, dude. And that's the thing about Southerners, where it's like it's hard to tell with like the names and stuff, because obviously, black people, regardless of where they live in the country, I'm talking about black Americans here, not like Nigerians or whatever. I'm talking about black Americans. Their names are Southern, right? Because that's where the vast majority of black people come from. So Nisha Croyle, actually a Southern white. I imagine she's from the South. If this bitch ain't from Macon, Georgia, I'm killing myself. So I guess it's not as racist as I thought it was, but she is the wife of Major Major League Baseball star, or former Major League Baseball star, Jose Bautista with a bat in a horrific accident during a concert in Toronto. Hit her right in the goddamn face. So Morgan Wallen left spectators stunned after he hurled a baseball bat at the former Major League Baseball star Jose Bautista's wife. The country music sensation was performing at Toronto Rogers Center during his I'm the Problem. Oh my god. It's literally the name of a Taylor Swift album. You cannot look me in the eyes. You cannot look within your soul and tell me I'm the Problem doesn't sound like the exact name of a Taylor Swift album and then subsequent tour. He's literally Taylor Swift for men. I have nothing else to say about this. If you hear the name of that tour and you don't fucking immediately think of Taylor Swift, you're out of your goddamn mind. Morgan Wallen is Taylor Swift for men. I wasn't super steadfast in that opinion before, but now I'm a Nazi about it. All right, I'm a Morgan Wallen Nazi, which he kind of is a Nazi. But anyway, except Nazis didn't hate black people, but whatever. So, he was doing this tour, and he decided to bring former Blue Jays power hitter Jose along as he made his entrance from backstage. And he's going to try to say this was an accident. He meant to hit that bitch in the face. I think this guy's a severe alcoholic too, by the way. Things took a turn when Morgan attempted to wow the audience by mimicking Jose's iconic bat flip, and the stunt went terribly wrong. After the six-time All-Star handed him the bat, the performer took a swing before tossing it aside. The maneuver may have looked seamless to concert-goers, but what they didn't see was the bat had actually sailed through the air and struck Jose's wife in the stage, or Jose's wife, Nisha, who was filming the onstage moment on her phone. In footage posted to her Instagram story, she could be heard screaming as the bat hit her and seemed to drop her device in shock. A person beside her was then heard saying, "Shit, you okay?" He's like, it's hard. There's not really any angles of it, but it seems like he's pretty close to the center of this stage. So he did that shit on purpose. He's got some beef with this bitch, Nisha Croyle. And I think that's all I'm going to do for today's episode in terms of articles and stuff like that. Not because I'm like tired or anything, but I do have to record another episode tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be tired as fuck during that. So, but that's all I've got for this episode, guys. Yeah. Somehow this is probably I've said a lot of I definitely have said a lot of controversial things on this episode, but it is what it is. And fucking everything is controversial. I'm clearly joking, so if you don't like it, whatever, suck my dick. But that's all I've got for today's episode, guys. I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good year, a good life, good semester at college, and I'll see you guys. I'm going to record another episode tomorrow, but I'll see you guys on Monday, so peace out.